I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Should have said the meeting will come to order at 7:11. I guess that's a lucky number.
Roll call.
Yep, roll call.
Mrs. Janik is here. Mr. Mello?
Here.
Mr. Susie with a Z. Ms. Key? Here. Ms. Cook? Here. Ms. Zardell? Here. And Ms. Driggs? Here.
Dorothy won't be here tonight. Cecil won't be here tonight. That I do know.
No Joe Bento.
No Joe Bento, no
Alex Cody.
I didn't think Alex would be here. On the agenda, I need to ask this question ahead of time.
Do you have these copies of the agenda?
Yeah, I thought I gave one. Oh, did I didn't. Does everybody have, you have them?
I printed it out.
You did? Okay. Everybody else has a copy? Okay. I'll hold that one off until the
She's coming later?
No, not today. Probably next meeting. No, next meeting.
Well, then you make a motion. Let's,
Can I make it, or
yeah?
as a chair? I got a phone call from Ms. Durfee, and she can't make it tonight. And she asked that we withhold discussion of the police pensions. So I'd like to make a motion to withhold that till the next meeting, table it till the next meeting.
No, continue it to the next meeting.
Continue it to the next meeting. A second?
I'll second that.
All in favor? All opposed? Unanimous? I assume you...
And also, it would be beneficial if we could make sure the town administrator would be here for that discussion.
I will make it a point to...
Ask him if he will be present for that, as the actuarial report, we would benefit from him. We have. The town administrator gave us copies of the actuarial report at the last meeting, but it would be beneficial to get his insights and his help in walking us through it.
I agree.
And
We'll do that.
seeing as I was absent tonight, putting it off till next week is a good idea.
Good idea. Okay, that's the only...
Sure glad I brought all those papers.
I'm glad you did too.
Right.
Chief, you all set? Not you, Sally.
No, I'm just getting, I'm just getting the agenda.
I didn't have your housekeeping to take care of.
No, took care of it.
Okay.
Once we get the keys to the building, we will go. Thank you for your help.
No problem.
Had to call a posse. Break in or something. Call the posse.
Before you get started, thank you much for the tour of the police station and your great Saturday. My daughter wanted to know if I got to see the cell block, and I said yes.
Well, she called me actually, if you could actually visit the room.
You don't know her, I wouldn't be surprised if she had.
Are you using the February 17th where the council voted a different amount in there?
Yes, ma'am, I think that's what we all have.
Red.
Well, I'll just hand it out. Dated 2/17/2015. That is the latest and greatest.
I do not have that. I have 2/4.
2/17?
Chief Chapman?
I say because there's two changes that the council voted on Saturday.
For the police department?
Under the police department, yes.
Page 13.
Okay, yes, I just...
Holiday pay and longevity? Yeah. Okay. Here we go.
Everybody all ready?
But I'm talking about, that's for...
Chief, you've got the floor.
We'd like you to begin the budget, capital improvements.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Which, let's do capital.
You want the capital? Capital has been requested.
Page 4.
Firstly, pretty much the lifeblood of the police department is the police cruisers. I've asked again for 2 new cruisers, which in the same rotation we've used in the past 12 years. There's a 3-2-2 combination. We are this year in a 2-cruiser, to purchase 2 cruisers. I can tell you that the cruisers that we purchased last year, the all-wheel drive cruisers, obviously for this group has been very helpful, and they've worked out very well, and they have a very high rating. I'm very pleased with with the equipment we're using, so I'm very happy to go. I would like to request 2 additional cruisers, same type, all-wheel drive, and considering the area we live in, the terrain, the hills, they've worked out very well.
Now, are these, if I remember correctly, are they Dodges?
Yes.
And they're the ones, the all-wheel drive that the Massachusetts State Police tried out?
No, those are Fords. They're the Explorer. I did try those. The Dodges I bought, first of all, we're talking different type of vehicle, but the Explorers that you're talking about are SUV style.
Oh, okay.
The 2 Durangos I bought in 2013, they were 2013, they were in 2014, they were leftovers. They are a different vehicle. The all-wheel drive vehicles I'm talking about now are cruisers. They are an actual car with all-wheel drive, not the SUV. The price of the Durangos that I bought, the SUVs, were actually cheaper than the Explorers that the state police have in Mass. They were the truck of the year in that particular year, and they have been fantastic for repair-wise and warranty work, and I'm very pleased with all of the vehicles. And the Dodges have held up very well.
Okay.
The only question I do have, I'm trying to look at this, have any of the capital improvements, Mr. Wojcik isn't here, just to say that they've been eliminated, are we discussing any of these, or?
If you'd like to make the case for it.
Absolutely. That's what you're here for.
Well, let me say this then, I realize that these are times that are trying, so that's why I said the police vehicles first, because that is the most important thing I need on my capital improvements. I did have on there for the parking lot, and I actually, when we took that off of the discussion with Mr. Wojcik, I would like to get it done, but if we have to push it off for the future, I understand.
The only thing I'm questioning is, don't you have to complete that so that you don't make what you already did last year null and void if you wait too long?
No, we're doing sections, well, I think you'll be referring to actually a top coat.
Yeah.
We're not there on that side, yeah, we've done, every section that has been done, the 2 previous sections, the sections that I've done, have been top coated, sealed, so they're not in any peril at all, as far as breaking or coming apart at all, no.
Okay.
But the parking lot that needs to be done is an old parking lot that will have to be,
Is that around the police station?
yes, it's on the curve, within the curvilege, it will be on it will be on the west side of the building to the south rear corner. The public really doesn't go there, it's primarily for police cars and going into the Sally Port and the repair bay.
Chief, can you explain just a few items that are on here for you? The audio and video recording equipment?
The audio recording and video equipment, we wanted to make sure that everything inside is secure, we want to make sure everything outside is secure. I did actually supplement that to Mr. Wojcik and change that because there's been a new state mandate with our computer systems and the laptops and the computer systems that we're trying to upgrade them so we can have them in the cars. And that's what I actually would prefer, that we actually take less money in that area, reduce that. That would be, reduce that for being a priority, and we'd be more interested in obtaining $15,000 in that area for our mobile database units, the laptops and the cruisers, and upgrade those and replace those to stay current. And it's just a matter of me prioritizing those things over the actual camera systems around the building and the cells. I am still working on getting some of those things through grants, and when monies do become available, we're still very interested in maintaining that for litigation purposes and security and safety of people who are incarcerated.
That's
Held
the 15,000?
that was, I initially requested 20,000, And I reduced that down to 15, so I could use it toward the camera system, the laptops, database, mobile database units.
I'm looking at 4,200.
Okay, that's something completely different. That's another mandate for videotaping in the building, for interview rooms and for prosecution. Attorney General has, there's an upgrade in statute now, a state mandate that we audio tape, video and audio tape confessions. And we have to reach certain criteria to meet what the courts are requesting. That's all we have to upgrade that. We were the first departments to actually have this in place in the state, but it's dated. It was, when it was put in when I first came in, it was just something we put together that doesn't meet their standards.
So the one you were just talking about before that was the jail security system for 15,000?
Yes. After number 3 is the parking lot. Number 4, I'm sorry for confusing the issue, is the interview room audio and video taping equipment, recording equipment. That's 4,200. That's a new state mandate.
Okay.
The other one I spoke of is the laptops. I'm sorry for that, you don't have that, and that's to replace the request, the capital improvements for security cameras and that type of item. But it's going to be used primarily in the police cars, so we can have databases, and we are going to integrate that with state of Massachusetts Department of Police, which we get a lot of interaction with.
I'm sorry, Chief, I'm just confused. So do you see the line item that I'm looking at? You don't?
I do, I think is that number 4, the interview room?
No, I'm looking at police-jail security system.
Right, that was number 5 on my list that I have.
We don't have the interview room.
We don't have the interview room on this list.
Yeah, I don't see
We have the patrol vehicles, we have the audio video recording, replace unmarked vehicle,
Do you have an extra?
complete parking lot paving, and jail security system. Let me see if one of
Is there
my...
an extra one of those that you, give me an extra one of these, just so that
She has it. He's got another one. He has it here.
Well, I don't know if, I'm not going from that actual, okay, I was going from my list.
No, we're
I
going off
apologize,
the,
something may have been changed from,
we're all set, Nancy.
okay, I do have it. Sorry, I didn't get that, but I have it on my request. Okay.
And how much is net would be?
You want to start over on this?
Yeah.
Yes,
You revised it.
I apologize, I wrote from a different paper.
that's okay,
It's not- I'm sorry.
I thought it was supposed to be.
just so we understand.
Okay, I apologize for that. I was going from a different document.
That's fine.
No problem. No problem.
Police patrol vehicles is the item, requested $63,000 for that.
Yeah.
The police audio, that's the state mandate, that's 4,200. And then
Go down all of them, whether they've been approved,
okay,
because I'm curious about the replacing the unmarked vehicle.
the 2 police vehicles marked, those frontline cruisers, those are my emergency response vehicles, we should keep those the most current. The other recording system I just explained.
Yeah.
Replace an unmarked vehicle. The unmarked vehicles we currently have, or firstly, the police contract mandates we have, police vehicles, they have to be a certain police grade, but that's only for the uniform division. Anything in the back end, administrative or detective division, we can pretty well use what we want. What I've done in the past is I have bought cars from, I call them program cars, from either Hearst Rental or any type of dealership that has these cars, and you're getting a vehicle that's 1 or 2 or 3 years old, and I also put in the specs that it can't have more than 15 or 20,000 miles on it. We get those bids, and those are the cars that we place in the back end. All those cars to date have been purchased through drug money or grants. They also purchased at the time when I do buy them, I put an extended warranty on them to keep minimal cost for repairs or any unexpected. Catalytic converter is $1,300. I still want to find that extra bill. An average extended warranty is $25. So we're talking one item, the transmission is $25 to $3,000. So these are the bills you're getting away from, or trying to, basically you're paying for anticipated major repairs in advance. And they last for 3 years, so I've never had a problem with buying an extended warranty. It gives me a good way to base my money, or to budget my money for the year. That main vehicle I put in there now is these vehicles I've had them for 3 or 4 years, they're getting older. It's time to start replacing them. And then I would pass these cars that we're currently using on to, like, the director at the senior center, or building code enforcement, something of that nature. DPW uses them, and in some cases, they go to the fire department if they're still in good shape, for their fire, for less than emergency services, like a fire inspector or something of that nature. So we do use those cars. This is, again, is a low priority for me. I have to gear everything toward patrol. Always patrol is number one in the police department, in any police department, not just Tiverton. Patrol's number one, and then all the other assisting agencies, like detectives and civilian employees, come after that.
What do you do if you don't get that one?
I use what I have.
Where does the drug money stand?
It's around $40,000 now. That's what we have currently.
Okay, because last year it was 52, so you spent some
We
of it.
spent some on, could be anything, some things that could get you better. It might have been to replace a couple of tasers, which we tried to, basically what we tried to do is every man has their own taser now. When we started off, you could recollect, we were platooning them. We'd come off shift and then someone would take your taser and move from there. So over the years, we've actually bought, everyone has their own taser. Hood Milk Company did a study in the 50s. When you have your own vehicle, when it belongs to you, you take better care of it. So we found that everything you have issued to you becomes better maintained, because it's directly hooked right to you. You keep a record of all the equipment that's issued.
So does that drug money roll over year to year, or do you?
Yes, it's in the police budget, it's in the police coffers, and it can be used for law enforcement purposes only.
Right, it's a separate fund.
Right, but it doesn't end at the end of the year?
No, it doesn't have
No.
an expiration date.
No. But if it became critical that you needed to have another unmarked vehicle, you could use that money for
It's
that
applicable for that,
purpose.
yes.
Okay,
It's money to supplement, not supplant your budget.
right.
That's, I don't even see
Okay,
I saw
so-
the parking lot on there.
Right, and then the next one is the jail security system.
And that's the one that I lowered that down. They didn't rename it from jail security system. That was the one that I was intending.
It's 20 on the 271 here.
Took it from 20 down to 15.
Right.
Because instead of doing that, I wanted to start buying new laptop computers for the crews, the frontline cruisers. And again, I was prioritizing the patrol division.
All right, so instead of jail security system, this should be
Mobile data terminals,
mobile data.
What, the 15,000?
yes.
That gets you a lot of laptops.
Mobile data
Or laptops, we can call them laptops.
systems.
But it's all that interface too, though.
They do have to have, because everything we deal with, if you will, everything has to be high security, and it's got to be off the shelf, it's got to be programmed in certain things. Access is definitely, security is very heightened on all these things.
All that
So-
encryption is expensive.
Right, so for this is a high priority for you,
Yes, it is.
and it's a high priority. Just help me understand what you get for it. I mean, I mean, besides the obvious of communications and being able to look things up right away when you're
It's just-
pulling somebody over.
Our job is basically gathering and disseminating information as quick as we possibly can. And that's going to be the difference between success and failure. And anything that, technology changes every 6 months or quicker. We just try to we're always trying to maintain and keep connected. Last year, we were actually threatened by the FBI to be taken offline at one point. The council was good enough to give us the money to keep us, at the end of the year, we were to transfer some monies within my budget to keep us back online. So we're comfortable inside the building now. Now we have to go to the databases that the patrol people use on the street.
Okay. And that's it for capital.
Any other questions about capital? What's that? All right, Jim, thanks.
The only thing that, if I may, is I did put on here for a man, and again, I realize the situation in the budget, so the standards for the federal government is one sworn officer for every 1,000 people, so that was, actually, we should be staffed at 32. And then the obvious, anyone, and thank you for your comments about the building, if you couldn't have made it, we've used every nook and cranny, and for future budgets, we're stuck. Sometime this town is going to have to invest in the infrastructure, and hopefully they're going to see that we do need a public safety complex. Minimally, the police station we're full. There's nothing, I've changed every broom closet, everything I can make into office space. We have 4 outbuildings for our records, some evidentiary, most of it, our evidence is inside, but any large items are in the storage bin. We've had our records on the storage bin, we have all our equipment, a lot of the equipment that's in storage bin on the property, so it's time, folks. So unfortunately, the town is going to have to do something in the not-too-distant future. Not this year, though.
Have you given up on the idea of an addition, or is that,
I've presented it 3 different ways. I was promised that we're going to have one this year. I did use a engineering firm from the students from Roger Williams. I did explore Space Metal buildings to take my mechanics garage, move it out of the building, and then incorporate the garage and reconstruct that into space. We actually had on the east side of the building, we actually had plans to drawn up to put a 200 square foot addition on that side, which would have kept the town probably for the next 20 years. And the prices we estimate on that with everything going on will be in the range of $300,000. And but we're looking at every aspect, but it's time. And I just want to make sure that's out there.
yeah,
I wanted to ask you about,
Safety complex, but that's big dollars.
yeah.
I wanted to ask you about, you were saying like another, to put the 32, another man. Now, last year, they transferred a lot of money out of your budget, and I believe you said somebody was supposed to take a job and left, or how did that work? You transferred quite a bit out of your budget last year.
I don't know exactly what you're referring to.
Was that a police
We do have people who leave, they may have some longevity. We had lost a couple officers who had longevity. That might be a little bit of funding that wouldn't have to be applied, or lesser college degrees. Sometimes we'll hire someone with a higher degree, or someone would leave with a master's, but we've lost very few people.
It could be all hiring timing, too.
Pardon?
Could be hiring timing, couldn't it
It
also?
could be hiring timing, or someone on FMLA. There's a multitude of little things that would add to.
But it was like lots of money. I was 20 here, 30 there. I mean, it was substantial amounts.
Well, geez, I think that chief does a hell of a bookkeeping job. I don't know what to tell. I can't say particularly which account.
The only reason why I bring it up is because if you had that much last year and then you need a new person, why can't they put it back in your budget, give you a new person?
I don't know that they've cut my budget that much. I've gone over all the figures and the longevities and the educations and everything we've adjusted it pretty, I think, accurately. Mr. Wojcik and I have gone over this, and we did make some adjustments. Some of the things weren't exact, but it was just a matter of job titles that were given to him, and I think everything's in pretty good shape as far as that goes. But as far as somebody leaving, things like that, I can't. I don't know. We're just very cautious from the get-go where the money moved and how it's spent.
So you have 31 officers?
I currently have 31, counting myself. Yes.
31 counting yourself?
Yes.
So,
One is an SRO. The
6.
school department's good enough to work with us and having a school resource officer. We just had the officer trained in hate crimes. All these things that are, they're in the public eye right now, whether it be hate crimes, whether it be racial profiling. As a matter of fact, I went to a rape training yesterday in racial profiling.
good.
Generation, it's just so amazing to see the generational difference from my time with the kids. And a simple thing like a name calling now, which you did in so much in jest, is now a hate crime. Can be classified a hate crime depending on the circumstances. So it's interesting, to say the least.
So are we in compliance with the number of officers we have?
We're in compliance. That's up to us, but this federal standard is 2 per 1,000. I think that when we did the school resource officer, it was close to 75,000 with benefits to hire for a new hire. And again, it's a tight budget year, so we're looking at that, something that we can, it would be nice to have. So, pardon?
No, it's just an offhanded comment I was making.
Okay.
The changes in the three patrolman lines, is that simply a function of somebody moving up a class or?
What page do you want, sir?
Page
13.
13.
The
It usually is.
line 6, 7, and 8.
13, 6, 7,
I mean, I'm guessing that that's what that is, but,
If, when you're asking if different officers...
so patrolman second class.
Yes, that's usually time and grade, and they advance in grade, yes.
So then now, one of them is now patrolman first class.
Yes, I think that was Officer Foster, just got her third
Okay.
year.
Then the probationary,
We have one officer just, we have two officers. One was academy certified already.
yeah,
He is also, and we have a new one who actually just graduated. Yes, they're both probationary for a period of time.
okay,
When,
but that went down 50 some odd $1,000.
It'll be spread over it'll be spread into other accounts.
Okay.
Wait just 1 minute, and let me get, as long as we're doing this, let's get the, I'm sorry to be nitpicky, but this is one of the things that really bugs me, is the number of officers next to each.
Each category?
Yes. And if I look at last year's, we should be able to.
It looks like the numbers are the same, though.
Okay, so patrolman first class, we had 13 last year, we have 13 this year. So do we have 14 first class patrolmen now?
I'll be honest with you, I just tell you exactly right now, we
don't
may
know.
have had a first-class patrolman, I did have a first-class patrolman, just make sergeant. So there's a constant flux in some of those
Right.
ranks.
All right, so let's just circle them and ask the town administrator to make sure that these are,
It looks like that you just copied from last year, because it's all the same.
well, it's not, you,
I mean, it may
it's the
not be.
template, you use the
Yeah,
same.
Yeah, so,
It's not that you intentionally copied it, it was just there.
Well, it depends
Okay.
on what the needs are.
If you do the math, I'm sure when you'll
No, but I'm
like the
saying-
number of 31.
Yeah, it does.
Right, it's just confusing
It just- well,
for
it-
people when they look at it.
It's just over on the financial side.
Right.
Oversee it, you know what I mean?
But
And the CCOs, did we get another CCO?
We're in the hiring process right now.
Okay, so there's money in the budget to hire
Yes.
another one. Okay, so is that going up to 9 then? It must be going
It's
up
like
to
a
9.
fire police dispatcher.
Yes.
control
Okay.
center operator.
How is that
It's
going?
actually 8.5.
8.5.
Because one person has two positions. One, she also does records on 2 days, and she does dispatch on 2 days, so
Okay,
she's a half person.
imagine, imagine. How is that working out with the, not to bring up a sore subject, if it's still a sore subject, the radios, the sharing, the,
The police operations are fine.
okay.
Okay.
Very diplomatic.
Well done.
No, I mean, the 800 radio is a statewide radio. We do utilize the 400 as a backup unit, but our primary communication is 800 megahertz with the state.
Chief, why am I not seeing a raise in here for the captain, the lieutenant's line
This is
97?
all, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. But I can tell you that this is, I think it's in future needs right now, we're in contract with.
Oh, it's the end of their contract, it's the end of their contract, so their contract is up July
The only one that
1st.
will be raised in the budget will be civilian employees.
Okay. Okay. So the only changes in these salary line items are people from moving one class to another.
One class or other, or in the education incentives.
Right, well, that should be a separate line item, so,
Okay.
yeah.
It is, yes, next to the last.
So my understanding, they're still negotiating, so some of these may go up?
You're going to take it out of the...
That's the future needs. Overtime is going up?
small degree.
Small?
And there's an explanation in that, and also it's the police department is currently doing all background investigations for the town. On average, it takes 40 to 48 hours of time to do a complete, accurate background investigation. When the fire chief comes before you, he will tell you, I firmly believe, he's experienced a better, higher, we do everything from military, all branches of the military, all mental institutions, financial institutions, background checks. We go to people's neighborhoods, we just don't talk to their references, and he is getting a better employee. And we do this in the police department anyhow, and we all the gambling associations, casinos, all mental health hospitals, and it's extensive. Then we have to do our reports and everything, so it takes around 40 to 48 hours. While we're doing this, we're paying our people. We're paying these people overtime to go and do all these background checks. That's one of the things that, of course, to say nothing of the time is taking away from accomplishing our mission statement, to going to taking our people off to work to prepare reports, etc. So sometimes I have to put people back in to keep this in line. I have submitted bills to the treasurer to bill other departments. That's been declined. Pardon? Well, no, this was a decision made administratively that we couldn't bill other agencies from one budget to another, so that was that. But that's one of the reasons why we would use that there. That's it.
So for all new hires, you do this for all new hires? Or
all new hires, as well as I've done all the summer help, all the department heads have been hired, we do all those now. Snow plowers, or snow plow drivers, everyone. The responsibility, if we hire a part-time person and there's a crash, and this person is proven to have a long history of operating to danger or something like that, or we would take that to deep pockets once we would be on the town.
Right.
So that's why we do that now. That was a recommendation from me.
Is the overtime seasonal at all?
There are influxes that we do get, we may get more overtime. The human beings, they want to take the good weather off, so sometimes we do that in our staffing, there's a minimum of 3. That's our minimum staffing. But it is, but I won't say it's seasonal, because some people take the winter off, some take the summer, but we would see better weekends and in summertime, warmer weather, yes.
Because I'm looking at the December year-to-date spent, and it's a little over 76,000. So say it's 80,000 that you
I
spent.
have my payroll from, as of October 19th, the last payroll overtime is, we have a balance of 90 and we spent 99. But that will also have to, see, what you wouldn't have access to or knowledge of all the grants that we have that we use for traffic enforcement, that would also somehow get incorporated in that figure. So if it's skewed a little bit, is that pretty accurate with 99, 6 and 93? Yes, that'd be okay. That'll be 190.
So 100,000 you have through the end of,
Through the June 30th.
no, I'm sorry, actual dollars spent through December 31st, 2014, I have a little over 76,000.
Spent?
Yes,
I have February 19th.
yes.
And I have right now, my balance is $90,332.23.
Okay.
That will take me, and I've spent to date, I think we have I'm guessing 5 more payrolls to meet,
Something like that.
something like that. I'm just
Well,
guessing.
okay.
So I think we're in good shape on that right now.
All right, so it's 90,000 balance, so you spent 100,000 as of the middle of February.
We also have a pay
Okay.
increase that's going to be, there's a possibility of contractual increases.
Okay. So this 77,000 is not,
That's December, ma'am.
right, but it's halfway through the year, Chief. It's not higher math to figure out.
No, okay, no, I'm sorry, I'm just trying.
Yes, but the 100,000 makes a difference, though, because that 80,000 would indicate to me that you don't need another 10,000.
Okay.
Spending 100,000 through the midpoint of February indicates that you do need it.
Like all good police officers that got saved their time to the end of the fiscal year,
Right.
without even seasonal, that's when I anticipate in the spring I will get, they'll use their time up, because June 30th, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Yeah, okay.
Is there a reason, you have such a very specific cost of doing background investigations, and the time taken? To me, that ought to be a separate line item outside. To mix that in with overtime, inflates overtime.
That's just one example of it, but I did ask for a separate line item.
Yeah, I mean, it would make sense to me.
Actually, I wanted it out of the police budget. but-
Well, that may very well be too, but while it's there, I think it should be identified as an expenditure as opposed to
I think,
lumping it into overtime, because it makes, anytime you look at overtime, it makes somebody look bad if you have a high overtime number. Okay, and it's not necessarily meant to, but people have a tendency to zero in on overtime. And if it's not really an overtime issue, it's an issue of you're doing a service for the town, and
But they're getting overtime pay to do it.
in some instances, sometimes it's just
Yes.
taking away people off the road when they are working to do the job.
So-
This is also, that 10,000 also includes received contractual overtime pay raise as well. It's not just $10,000 in or out.
understand, right? I wasn't even zeroing in on the 10, I was zeroing in on the entire amount.
Right.
As to how much of that is spent on background investigations.
A small percentage, if we don't hire any firefighters, or we don't hire any police at a given time.
Or anybody in town.
Well, yes, or anyone, then that costs that amount. And that's why I initially requested that there be the $10,000 line item by the town administrator, so we could do all the town.
That's what would make sense to me.
But that didn't,
Yeah, and then that's not his decision.
Well, no, it's not, I agree, but at least I've got the background now that I was asking about.
Yeah,
that's just it. But again, please keep in mind there are going to be pay raises.
Understand.
If you were to add that one more officer, would that offset that overtime?
That would help some, but I think I don't think it would impact it that much. I think what we're trying to do, as I said, mission statement is what we're trying to do. We'd rather be proactive than reactive. If we could do some crime prevention or something in community services, do some surveys on property and see where there's this, something as simple as removing shrubberies from a house so you'll have better visibility, or just education, just public education of people. We have right in place now for different trainings. We have police explorers in place. We have the Citizens Police Academy. All this is to get proactively. And I feel personally that's an extremely important part of police work, rather than wait until after and take a report that someone's house has been broken into, or, that's what we're trying to do. Now, one bad person, I don't think is going to be something that's going to knock the overtime down, no.
So it's not minimum manning or anything that's causing the overtime, there's contractual, you get a certain, are you guaranteed, if I'm an officer, am I guaranteed overtime?
Not by me.
Okay.
no, there's no.
No.
If it's not a staffing issue, and you've identified some of the background work that goes on, why do we have overtime?
Why do we have overtime?
I mean, why do we have 200,000 in overtime?
I don't think that's excessive. I mean, I can also tell you that probably could be $200,000 more easily. My people take compensation time. Right now, I have a good number of new officers, and they like money. We're not taking, and as you know, we all know, the price of toilet tissue is not going down, so nothing is, so they will work and put the overtime in versus the compensation time. Some of my older guys rather have the time off. But it's not, I don't think it's excessive, because if my people did not take compensation time, you would have a $400,000 overtime budget.
What leads to the overtime? Give us examples. I mean, I'm assuming if there's an officer out sick for a week, some of those things that...
On my desk this week, I received 2 requests for FMLA leave for the 2 of my officers, for their own particular family issues. So that may create some overtime. Court is a huge overtime.
Okay.
You wanted to be proactive? Well, you also have citizens have rights. let's just say for a number of 100 tickets, 25 people appeal their tickets, which they have the right to do. And those 25 people go to court, well, that just cost me $100 to go to because I have to pay them a minimum of 4 hours. Contractually, I can't say, okay, when you come back from court, I want you to go in traffic post and go to work, because the contract language is specific. It says, for those of duties assigned only. Now, sick time is not an epidemic, but it also sick time. If someone calls out and I don't have even a minimum saying, there will be. The storms we recently had, another area where we put people on. This is a juggling act for me. I sit there and weigh everything, all the options. I'm watching that stupid weather program with everyone else, but not for bread and milk, to see how many people I'm going to put on the road. And that's what we have to do. And that also includes all my civilian people. How many people am I going to have on the desk to make sure we can handle the communications effectively. So, all other things involved. But
Could you explain when you said
Yes.
a minimum of 4 hours, what's that about?
If I call you, you're going to go to traffic court, say,
Right.
or municipal court, right here.
Right.
When you come here and you're off duty, I owe you minimum of 4 hours time.
Even if you're back in an hour?
If you're back in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That's a
If I
state law.
transport a prisoner,
That's a state law. Because it's a state law. But they have it in their contract, but it's a state law.
because everyone's time is valuable, you just can't take them for that little stipend. If you transport a person to the hospital, you have mental health issues, or you transport someone to the ACI, 4 hour minimum. And if it's a person who's difficult, or a person of a different gender, I send 2 officers, because if that money is so well spent, because of an allegation of sexual misconduct, or did something, always read the police. Well, first of all, I'm the most likely person in this community to be sued, by none. Because everything that'll be in one of our future lines I'll tell you about. But anyhow, everything we think is total responsibility of litigation, so we have to be very astute to the fact that we've been prepared for these things. And those little bits that we spent, for prisoner transports, for example, are well spent, because you will not get $150 to $300 an hour just to take us out of anything. So it's something we need to do. It's just the way it is, and again, it's something that you should.
That's what I was looking for, with some of the background to overtime, because overtime can have a very negative connotation.
Some of these grants that we get, our ticket, municipal court here, again, is all paid for. I think we've actually $40,000 now, it takes $26,000 to run the court annually. Last time I talked with Gene downstairs, I think it was about $40,000, over $40,000, just the money's taken in this municipal court. But everything has a price. If my people are out there being active, then these people can appeal tickets. So they're arresting someone, that means they have to go to court. And all these things, people have rights, and we have to respect that, and we do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anything that you want to point out on the salary section?
Are you speaking to me?
Yes.
I'm sorry. She should get a hell of a lot more.
Okay.
That's it, no, I think everything here has been explained,
And the holiday pay and the longevity, that was fixed calculation?
that was all calculated by every year, both civilian and all calculated, yes.
So the change that we see from week to week,
Just reflects on the current rate of pay, it reflects on the current year status of the officer or the sworn.
so they were just recalculated. Okay.
I'd like to add that I think some other department heads could take a few lessons from Chief Blakey. He does a very good job trying to keep his budget down. We appreciate that.
Thank you very much. We all have unique problems in each department.
So the next thing we have is the one that the name, general contractual mandated expenses.
Would you like me to start?
Sure.
Basically, there's no, and first item is the chief's miscellaneous expenses. I belong to a lot of associations, Chiefs of Police Association, Rhode Island Police Chiefs Association, a lot of literature, some of the training classes I go to, and chiefs meetings, that's what that money is used for. Prisoners' meals, we've pretty well maintained that, kept that steady. The state educated mandates, that's $45,000, that's for schooling. I never know how many people are going to go to school, and those are tuition fees.
So that went up,
Wait a minute, we're
No,
not,
that's just about this, that's the same.
48,000.
before it's up to 48,516.
I thought we were in,
Well, it's the revised, on the revised one,
Which one was that?
217.
should it be 45?
I'm sorry, wait a minute, you got the wrong one, I picked up my book again. I'm not doing well tonight.
Oh, goodness, not all that has changed.
Sorry.
Tuition going up.
That is,
All right, that did change.
Yeah,
It's not in
48,000.
red, so we didn't, you know.
We didn't
okay,
pick up.
that would be for college, that was for your college degrees.
So between February 4th and February 17th, it went from 45 to 48,516.
Right. People are going to college, and they're getting
And that's mandated.
incentives for going for education.
Well, it says state education mandated.
It's a state mandate that you have to pay them for their degrees, yes, it's a law.
But it's not mandated that they go, but it's mandated.
Correct, yes, I'm sorry.
So I guess I don't, so we discovered that, did you discover that there was going to be more, there were going to be more going?
It's just people who have graduated or getting different degrees as people stay in school or go further on in school.
But why the change between the 4th and the
Yeah.
17th of this month is what I'm asking.
$45,000 enough?
When,
It changed. It went from 45 to 48,516. That's what we're trying to figure out.
Nancy,
Yes.
didn't you say the revisions were all in red?
The revisions in red mean that the council voted them. They had a workshop on Saturday and again on Tuesday.
So what about on this,
It's gonna go in black the next time you see it. I'm just,
This is not red, though.
no, this isn't red, it's revised from the other one.
State educated mandated. This is 45 and this is 48. but this is- I don't know.
It was
on the
level funded 45.
On the 2-4.
And then here with this new one, it went up to 48,516.
4516.
oh, well, it went up to 48 and I didn't read that one.
let me show you what.
It might be because, see, we've had several workshops with the council, so maybe it was in black because the council had
But
voted.
he doesn't even know about it.
But that is the current, he doesn't know about it because he wasn't here at the workshop when the council did them.
Who did it?
Did he actually?
I was here.
With the council?
I was here on Saturday, I spent the whole,
No, this would have been another night.
oh, no, I wasn't.
If it's black, I should have kept that red just so the budget committee would know. That only means that,
You did the police budget again?
because I use the same thing for the council for their next workshops. I don't keep reprinting all their
Right.
copies.
But what I'm just saying is, he doesn't even know about it. Wouldn't that information come from him?
That information would have come from Mr. Wojcik, I believe.
Who again is not here at the meeting.
No, wait, what one is it?
Explain to us why it's
State
changed.
education mandated.
Third line down.
Nothing changes
Yeah,
in me about the department.
48,516.
That's what I mean, something's not right here.
But we had one on a Saturday, and Mr. Chief Blakey was not there, and the
Yeah, I know, that's why Mr. Wojcik should be here.
Changes.
If you didn't ask for it.
Dave Perry, perhaps Councilman Dave Perry remembers why the state education mandated line item was increased.
Which one? What's this one?
On page
This is the one I
14,
did on
Dave.
Saturday. When I came on Saturday, we did all this.
You're talking a different Saturday, Tom?
I'm not saying that, but I don't, okay, I wasn't, page 17, Laura?
Page 14.
Third line down.
And what is your report dated on the top? What is the date?
State educated method. I don't know. 48, 516.
Right, and your report that you have there is dated what?
So it's been increased.
217.
Okay, so you got the new one.
If you look at the February 4th, And if you look at the chief's, and in the back of
Department head
the
request is
It's
45, and the town
45,000.
administrator recommends 45. This one's 48,516.
Because there was a vote by the council to change it to 48,516.
But it says.
Right, but why?
Can I, let me see
I'm
if I
not
can-
questioning that there wasn't a vote by the council, I just was curious
Just
why.
because I'm curious, Alicia, if you're
Okay.
here.
There wouldn't be a vote by the council because we're looking at the department head request at 48,516 and the town
No.
council.
No,
no,
but you
no,
voted
it's
to
a
change
change.
it, Dave.
Hey, that's on the revised, the original request was 45,000. Now somehow it got changed to 48,516 from 45,000.
What I think happens, there's an area of incentives for when you attain a certain degree,
Yeah,
and there's another little area, another line item for educational mandates. If someone gets other degrees or advances, that money increases in that line item, i.e. incentives. I think it's a possibility, very real possibility, that just could put in the wrong line. That's what I think, because this
yeah, well,
number here wouldn't register in such a...
An odd number.
To be broken down to 3, 5, 16, that's
Yeah.
like a dollars and cents number to me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
That's why I think Mr. Wojcik should be at these meetings, thank you very much.
I was, but...
Okay,
well, it's not so much the dollar value, just as the process.
it's 3,000. I mean,
Yeah, it's not so much that though, as,
Because if they get too tight, this is what I can show you what it is.
It's the process.
it's the process, it's something that gets done,
Explanation sounds pretty plausible. That's,
or, as you said, maybe it's just in the long run out.
Well, it's the dollars in the process. So maybe the thing to do with this, Deb, can you make a note in the minutes to make sure that we check with
See, this is...
Mr. Wojcik?
I really think...
It came
if you-
from,
Some of that from the incentives.
May I, Mr. Souza?
Yes.
On page 13, education incentives, that's a payroll amount. And if you look back on 2014-15 budget, it was 47,242. And then it was put to a straight number of 46,000. With incentives, I think that would be almost impossible to, it would be odd to come out to a rounded number. Whereas the actual state mandate, we put so much money away through the educational cost, that's a flat number. So I just think that there was a mix-up in the line item with education incentive and state mandates for education. I think that was just a simple, this should be put.
that's, I think, what you said. So the extra 3,000 should go,
It really isn't,
It will
it
educa- it
really
should
isn't
go-
3,000, Laura. It's going from 47,242 to 48,516.
that's what I'm getting, yeah. I see
Whatever, it has to be fixed if it's not right.
Time out, hold it.
Okay.
All right, let's go one at a time, because
Here,
we're getting mixed up on the numbers and the lines.
Go to page 13,
Okay, page 13,
second from the bottom.
Right.
5150.
understand,
You look at the budget, 47,242.
right,
And then it's 46,000.
Right.
That number's not right. It should have been 48,516.
you don't know
jumping a
that.
step ahead.
Well, we
No,
know it was transferred.
no, time out, you don't know that, you can't say that.
Well, we're just saying we think it was transferred.
No,
We can't say that.
you can't.
to ask Matt.
Because your 48,000 doesn't go down in that line, 48,000 is in the line for education mandates.
Right,
There's nothing to do with incentives.
no, here's,
So,
can I just reinterpret what they said for a minute?
Go ahead.
That's how he's made the votes.
Okay.
The 48,516 in the state education mandated line on page 14.
yeah,
If you look back in the 45,000 and how chief had asked for 45,000,
yeah,
because it's not it's a rounded number. He doesn't have an exact figure for it.
Laura, we found it.
So what we think happened is that rather than putting that money in the education incentive, where it should have
we
been,
don't know what happened, Laura.
right.
We have no idea. You tell us.
All we found was the vote, and it was explained to us by Matt, and don't recall it right off my head. But we did change it from the 40,
From 45 to 48.
45 to 48, 516. It was
Right.
moved by
Do we know?
Abbott and was seconded by me, actually.
And it was unanimous.
And it was unanimous.
So we don't know why.
Okay, so we do need to ask
So
them.
we have to ask Matt.
Okay.
Okay, ask
It was
Matt.
his request.
It was his request.
I'm getting extremely frustrated with this whole frickin' process, guys. That changes get made to a budget without the department head's knowledge, without the department head's presence. Now, maybe the chief wasn't at that council meeting, but how in the hell does the town administrator change a department head's budget without the department head knowing ahead of time? I'm sorry. I don't expect an answer, that's a rhetorical question.
But is it in the contract of the town administrator to be here for the budget? I mean, I was in the figure of it here, the first two, the town administrator, or acting town administrator, was here to answer questions every week.
You're correct.
And I find that it's very lacking that Mr. Wojak has only come to 2 meetings.
No, I don't.
I apologize for Mr. Wojak not being here tonight.
I don't think you
I
can
don't know what
apologize
he's
to
doing.
somebody.
Well,
Well, the council is his boss, you should make him come to these
whose
things.
responsibility is it they have
Come
to
on now,
attend?
well, then why should we, how do we run a budget committee meeting if we don't have all the facts, and the person who knows them is not here?
We'll
And we were at a
talk to
site
him. I'll
visit,
talk
I
to
think
him
that's why
tomorrow. I'll
the
talk to
police
him on
chief
Monday
wasn't
night's
here.
meeting. We'll make sure that he gets here for the rest of the meetings. That's all I can
I
say.
think it's kind
All
of
right.
disrespectful
Thank you.
to the chief, actually.
That's right, I do too.
Can we move on?
I'm
Yeah,
fine.
okay, we got that settled.
I really think,
Yeah.
I just think you could put it
Just,
in.
it has nothing to do with why it went to there, but yes, my notes all show the motions and the,
Right.
and the amounts, but I just want to say that, that 48.5, why it is not in red, that doesn't have to do with Mr. Wojcik, that has to do with me, because we had two workshops, so when I went back to the second workshop with the council, I changed their changes to black, and I did not
Right.
put that back in red for you.
Okay.
So that's just, yes,
fine.
it's a change, and I
That's-
overlooked.
No, that's no big deal, Nancy.
Red.
Okay.
No big deal.
But it should be red, I'll make sure I do it.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, the color of it isn't the issue.
Color wasn't-
But I know, it just draws to our attention, but the process is leaving me cold. That's not the first one we've found that's been changed without department heads knowing, and I can't understand how an organization can work if the department heads aren't aware of what's happening with their budget.
That's right.
If I...
Sorry, that's my military background standing out again.
I agree.
Let me try to shed some light on this, okay?
Yeah. I don't want to beat this number to death.
No,
That's not over
I
with.
can explain to you, I believe, what happened. Well, I better right about now, right? Okay. The number we have in question is 48,516.
Right.
Now, I have a paper in front of me that has that number, 48,516. Son of a gun. Mr. Wojak is correct with that number. And I'll tell you why. I think it's because there are 26 pay periods at $1,866 per pay period.
Yeah.
And this is for the incentives for everyone. And my secretary is Joan, my administrative assistant, Joan Mello, who worked in the payroll offices for many, many years. She spoke with the payroll, they did all the figures based on this. This is for the education incentive, page 13 line. And that is 48,516. So what they did was they just simply put it in the wrong line, folks. Okay, so that's how that was all figured out. That is just a simple line mistake.
Okay, so education incentive on page 13 should be the 48.
48,516, yes.
So instead of
please.
46,000, it's 48,516.
Correct.
Then what should
45.
the state indicate? It's
Seeing that I did such a hell of a
mandated.
job finding that, I think you ought to give me the extra grant.
I don't mind doing it. I don't mind, you are a trained detective, I mean, you should be able to,
All right, but I think, and if you like, you can have copies of that, that's what that's
Okay.
from.
no, but,
You're saying
Wait
the
a minute.
state education mandate should be 45.
then that should be 45.
That's what we agreed upon, Mr. Wojak and I, yes.
So,
All right, so that's the level fund, and the education incentive is going up a little over 1,000.
Correct.
Okay, so that makes sense.
Okay. I thought, when we
Thank
started
you,
talking
Dan.
about that topic, I knew it was, all right.
It's gone up a little, from 47 to 42 to...
In Mr. Wojcik's defense, I really feel that it's confusing and that they're both educational mandates and areas.
Can you just tell me what you're doing, John, so I can track?
Yeah, I don't even know.
Page 13, education incentive for 16, department head request and town administrator recommendation is 48,516.
That's state mandated?
No, that's page 13, education incentive.
15.
The bottom?
Education
The bottom.
incentive, okay,
Yeah, where it says 46,000,
okay.
it should be 48,516. And then on page 14,
Yes.
should be 45,000 across the board, 15, 16, and recommendation.
Okay, how we doing, Nancy?
Let's make sure the motion was right, that I did.
No, that's,
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
hold on a second.
no, you,
Okay,
actually can't.
okay.
You all set?
I'll change those, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
So all in all, we're paying $93,516 for education and mandated state education, all in all?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Are we ready
Hey.
to move on? In-service training in health and wellness, can you explain it?
Where are we?
Next to the last line.
No,
We're-
two last,
we're
two
back at
last lines.
Line 3, psychological testing is the next one,
Let me see.
Let's go down.
That's level.
yeah.
Everybody's,
They're all level until you get down to in-service training.
And medical expenses.
Medical expenses, we went down a little bit, that's, it's what it is, it's $300, that's not,
Wait a minute, no,
not-
you're in the wrong one.
Okay, where are we?
yes,
I
we're
have
in
no
box.
idea anymore.
No, not if it went down.
More training?
Next to the last line, in-service training. When you requested 25,000 and it got approved as 20,000.
But it went from
I'm sorry, sir, I'm
13,500.
lost.
And then the next line,
Okay, you're right. So we're done with everything except because of level funding, there's no discussion on
yeah,
that.
not unless you've got something to,
No, I'm good.
okay.
All right, as I said to you before, that I would get back to this training, issue of training. If I had my druthers, it'd be at 25,000. It's money very well spent. As I told you before, that I'm most likely to be sued. We're not blind, we see TV, we all know what's going on in the police business right now. And the first thing that is cited in every lawsuit is lack of training. So this is money very well spent. We need to keep our people trained, highly trained, not just trained, not adequately trained. We're mandated to shoot twice a year. Well, if we shoot 4 times a year, it's going to make our case better, and maybe even when we have a case, because our people are trained. That's just one example of training. And it's so important to be current and keep up on everything that we have. So I think this is very well spent, and it's going to keep the community safe, it's going to keep my officers safe, and I think it's honestly going to keep us out of trouble. And we're incorporating this in with our certification accreditation program that we're currently getting to our third year of for the 3-year program. So I would like this to, before this time next year, to be an accredited police department, state accreditation. Training is paramount, and I think it's money well spent.
Why did you come up with the 25,000?
It's just, the 25,000, I figured that what we had spent, example.
Yeah, at the end of the year, at the end of December, you've already spent
I have.
11,000.
Right. It doesn't take long. There are schools offered that are constantly offered, whether it be alcohol awareness schools, active shooter schools, all kinds of training things we do day-to-day. Schools to teach responding to mentally ill persons, schools and trainings to offer to teach with autistic people. We don't live in a shell here, but we see that the autistic rate of people in communities is growing, and we have to remain current. I just think it might have even been, John, if I may, Susan, if I may, I don't think it's an arbitrary number, I think it's a number it's not double what we have, and I think we should actually double our account at 13.5, I think it should be high, but I think it's a good start in the right direction, and it'll be money well spent, as I said.
Right, so what would you be missing with the 5,000? What are you gonna do without because $5,000 was taken from
What I'm going to do is I'm going to look like I'm getting my biggest bang for the buck. The example, if I want to be creative, we're going to get a library online this year, and they have a room that holds 100 people. And if I hold some trainings here, because it's in this venue, I get 2 trainings for free. So we're going to use whatever we can, and be creative, but we want to bring more training in. If we can utilize it locally, then we become a training site, and you see companies that put the training on, they will use our site, and they will give us 2 training slots, which could be anywhere from $200 or $500 class. So these are monies that we'll make up. It's okay, it's a figure, it's a figure that I think we're trying to work with.
All right.
And is health and wellness going away? That's what this,
Health and wellness is currently a contract item, and I won't contract that. It's just, that was Mr. Wojcik's decision on that. But currently it is a contractual item, but I know, again, that's the administrator's area.
okay, so just for our edification, if you look at that page in the book, the explanation, the book Mr. Wojcik put together, the explanation is that this contract provision will sunset at the end of the current agreement and is unlikely to be renewed.
Okay.
So that's why it's,
This book here.
Hey, Sally, you're here too. I know I'm jumping around a little bit. The school resource officer?
Get reimbursed for it.
Have you had conversations with Mr. Rurick? I'm back on page 13, because I just noticed it.
Well, that's in the salary account. I have had informal conversations with Mr. Rurick in my office that he is definitely committed to this program.
Right. We've had conversation, the school department is also committed to this program. What was new that I heard this year was a percentage, that rather than a dollar amount that the school will be committing to, it's a percentage of the salary.
I think that's what was from the onset. It's always been a percentage.
Right. Well, it wasn't particularly clear, so that
Okay.
in past years, we put a dollar amount in instead of a percentage. So as I see that the school resource officer has a level funded salary, I would suspect after negotiations, that whatever happens with that salary line, the school department percentage. Do you follow my drift?
I do, yeah.
Page 19, if you go to page 19, which is the last page of the budget, just up from the bottom, the school resource officer school share offset, minus $50,000, $50,400.
That was the number that was given to us last year.
Okay.
What does it mean?
It was a dollar figure that was given to us as the dollar number to use. So that number is got to be changed.
An offset for what?
For the salary for
Total
the school
salary.
resource officer.
So it'll cover the
And the benefit
51,605.
package, sir.
We split it.
Correct, thank you. Oh, there you go, my good girl, go like that.
We've got a salary in here of
605.
$51,605. We got an offset of $50,400.
Well, it's salary and benefits. So you have to add up salary, whatever portion of his is state education mandated, state psychological test, clothing allowance, yada, 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 yada. So add it all up for the school resource officer, and
I think it was like 74%
the school covers. And that's that dollar figure that we need to get clear and figure out how to do that,
Would it
considering
be
how there's no-
beneficial if Mr. Rourke and I discuss this and we can
Yes.
offset the, again, there is an unknown, the contractual obligation of the salary account. I think it's so minimal that I think that Mr. O'Connor definitely, but that's not helping your cause to get a final figure right now.
But what is offset? The school, this is school resource officer, school share offset. Is that $50,000 being subtracted from the municipal budget?
Yes,
Okay. That's what I need.
Correct.
yes.
Gotcha.
We actually bill them, I think it's monthly, throughout the school year.
Okay.
You'll talk to him.
Then you want the schools to talk to the kids about
We'll speak to Mr.
various things.
And it may be worth a conversation, just a heads up to Mr. Wojcik, so that he's aware that that bottom number,
You're right, thank you.
In the school.
will probably need some adjustment.
Rotates, right? It rotates.
One police officer for all.
It's what it
Rotates the
Rotates around or something?
He spreads himself thin, yes. Wherever he's basically called, he'll go there. But he also has routine duties that he does all the time. And it's worked out very well. In both communities I've employed, I've actually done this, and it's been beneficial.
How's the heat working out in your building, chief?
Well, they've done some improvements on it. You know, who knows what the price of those will be? I mean, no one knows. We're doing gases. I can tell you right now, we're doing pretty well. But who knows after this? We just had a couple of repairs, but the actual heat spent that we're spent right now, I think I can tell you as of today, we're in pretty good shape.
So the idea is just to lower it a little bit?
We'll look at it.
Okay.
Okay. The gasoline, again, that's my life's blood. When you start taking that away, and that's a big bill, I've got to have that. All I can tell you right now, without a threat, I will put two men in a car, and it's going to cut our response time in half. If I don't have gas, I can't run the cars.
Or double the response time.
Pardon?
Double the response.
What did I say?
You said you had half.
No, we will double it. And, you know, that's not what we want to do. We want to be there quick, so. But thank you for correcting me. The thing is, we're $80,000, I don't know. I can't tell you what it's going to be, and
Well, it's kind of a hard comparison to make, but, I mean, considering the price of gas has gone down so much, I don't know how long we get our
it's actually
prices
going up
like.
12
I was gonna say it's going up again.
It's going back up. It's recently gone up another.
Right, but since we did the budget a year
Oh,
ago.
absolutely. I mean, at one time, I was like 120,000.
How often do we, does that gas price change? We purchase it and it goes to the DPW tanks, right?
Well, you know, we moved the tank over, now we have one centralized tank.
Right.
Usually what they'll do is they'll go out to bid, and we'll get it for 10 cents over the given amount. That's our locked-in price. So if it's $2, it's $2 for the year.
Okay,
So if it's locked in at $2 and it goes to, say whatever we're locked in is 10 cents over the rate. So if it's $2.20, it's $2, it's $2.10. If it goes to $2.25, then it's $2.30. We're always like a dime under it, and we're not far low. So you can't go crazy.
It's not a lot of difference. That's
But
not-
it's a gamble all the time. So it's only 10 cents over what they get it from the distributors, is what I meant to say, not with the pump prices.
because as of the end of December, for this line item,
Okay?
the actual dollars spent was a little over 35,000.
Correct. And as of February, we spent just under 40,000.
Okay.
So again, that's a very close, $5,000 is one tank of fuel.
Right.
So, okay.
Can you, I'm going to go back to something. I apologize for it. How did the town administrator come up with $80,000 if you were asking for 85 and you had 85 last year? Was that a discussion with you, or is that just, he took your budget, reviewed it, and came up with a number?
I know they did a 5-year average, and I can tell you that the fact that we finally, after asking for 10 years, they decided that they're going to actually have a monitoring system for the gasoline. They can estimate that you're gonna save annually 10 to 15% on your gasoline. I don't think that's the part about your question, but it's a good thing that we have that. And I think, I don't know where the figure come from, I'm looking for the,
On his page in the book, on Mr.
No, I know, but I had-
The 5-year average is 78,000.
right. No, we had,
So it's experiential.
Yes.
it's different, right. I was looking through this here.
All right.
Yes, and for the past couple of years, we put both chiefs and the DPW through hoops on their usage, checking out 5-year actual dollars spent on fuel and trying to come up with a rational number, so
Okay.
there's been a lot of work on it, done on it, so 80,000 doesn't surprise me. Electricity's going up because electricity is going up.
I'm looking at what I spent last year, my actual expenditures for heating oil, if we go back a little bit, I spent $12,180.80. And I put it at 12.5, as you know, it was cut down, and we're having a hell of a winter right now, so I'd be curious to see how this one works out for us. But, again, oil's a little bit lower, and I did ask to put that back, but we left it at the 11.5, I guess.
And how much have you spent through February?
Again, we're just getting into this bad part. We had a mild January. Heat, I have spent,
It was at the end of December.
5,000.
Yeah, okay, so it was 2,000 for one.
We spent 3,000 in 1 month.
Yeah.
And we never close, so.
They closed February on record, I believe. History.
It's definitely
So,
different.
It's not getting warmer either.
Why, Chief, can I jump down some to radio communications? It's about 3 up, it's above the code red system.
Okay, yeah.
I see that you requested an additional 5,000 for 17,000. That was not agreed to by the
I
administrator?
requested 17,000 and gave me 12.
Can you do it with $5,000 left, or?
What is it that?
What does it show in his? Yeah, that's.
Account level funded in order to prioritize other items in police department budget.
I don't know what that means, either you don't.
This means
What was
we
it
make an
for?
arbitrary decision to level fund it.
I just have to be careful in this area because it's a portable radio is $2,500, you know, so.
Is that what this is, this
And
bucket holds?
our actual expenditure for last year was $23,110.86.
Well, so far this is at the end of December, it was 2,700.
That could be anything from repairs or anything, anytime we have anybody in, so, you know, it's a dice roll. We'll see what happens on it.
Okay, so you increased it just out of worry that there wouldn't be enough?
I increase it on a basis of knowledge that I know all my equipment is getting older. And things break more frequently, and we have to replace things.
Okay. Can we use Skype on the new laptops?
Pardon?
Can we Skype on the new
They
laptops?
better not. That's not before.
Instead of radio
Yeah, right,
communications?
no, they better not, because we have policies and procedures on that.
So am I hearing that you're not happy with the 5,000 reduction from the 17,000?
Like, They budgeted, basically what they did is they budgeted, they level funded me from the year before.
Right.
And you were almost,
Leave it, it's fine, we'll do what we gotta do.
but you were almost double that this year.
Pardon?
You were almost double that this year,
What's that?
in that line item.
Yes, I'm sorry.
It was like 23
Last year,
last year.
yes, but this year, it's, so far, as of the end of December, it was $2,700 spent.
Right.
So it's even more than that.
So,
No, 2,700 spent halfway through the year. So double that, we give you 54.
Why not, at least go up to 15?
5,400.
no.
Oh, come on.
5,400.
If that's what, I mean, if that's what the town administrator wants to throw in there, it's,
That's fine.
you know, I mean,
We can change it.
it's a, yeah, I know, but it's a crapshoot number, we don't have any basis to change it on anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah, because so
So-
far it's 2,700
I mean,
that he spent.
if we have a basis for changing something, I don't mind changing, but we're just as, we're doing just as arbitrary a number as,
Everybody else.
yeah, so,
All right.
I mean, it's, town administrator gets paid to do those, make those decisions, so unless we have something that's really, really out of whack.
I think maybe the $5,000 went for the code red system. Maybe that's where he put it.
No, code red's a separate item.
Yeah.
No, I mean, like you said, he was prioritizing.
Yeah, but that was in the budget last year.
As far as the code red, I asked that to be taken out of my budget. But it's there, and that's fine. The reason I asked that was because I didn't want to affect the police budget, and that's a town-wide system, but it's fine. It's all in one pile, we'll get what we have to get out of that.
You gotta be in the school department.
Pardon? We actually have a good system.
Living at Sally, as I say.
Time to time, so.
Right, and just so that, that's not a new item.
No.
It shows up as new under account number, but it's not,
Why is it new then?
because it just hasn't been updated.
Well, maybe it doesn't understand.
It does, it's just somebody has to take the time to go in and type it in.
Okay.
Very sloppy docket this year.
Office
I can
supplies.
sympathize. I don't see anything else that sticks out under operations.
Electricity, we did go up on that. Mr. Wojcik also put an increase in it because we took over the Hampton Street radio tower.
Oh,
Okay, and that is for our 800 radio system. So we have an additional, besides the normal 40%, estimated 40% increase, there's also another unit that we're taking on. So
Wow.
that's why those figures are there.
where is it? Where is the tower on Hamley Street?
The water tower,
Oh.
where the water tank is, they actually,
Yeah.
it's up there.
Okay.
The water district is good enough to let us use that land. Water is, again, we don't know if there's going to be any increased rates in Fall River, so it's level funded. Photograph supplies, police operations,
Oh, well, look at that. Okay, I'm jumping ahead. Sorry.
she's got a plan over there. Let's see some-
What are you looking at?
Can I ask you about the animal shelter? Aren't they up for a new contract?
I'm just looking at something quickly here. Building maintenance was 8,000, and they've got me down to 6,500.
It was 8,000?
Says on here 5,000 for 14.
I know, but I'm looking at what I got originally from last year. What was the one before that?
5,000. Is that
Okay,
last?
that used to be that. Okay.
Over maintenance.
Might be, yeah.
Yeah, before, it's been 5,000. That's what it was budgeted
Yeah,
for
no, I'm just
2,000.
looking at it, we have 8,000 on my number here, and that's wrong, that seems to be wrong. Okay, just checking something.
Beyond that, it's fairly straight
Yes.
across the board,
There's nothing,
except for radio communications, which we've already discussed.
Yep. Can we move on to animal control?
I was going to take the lead. Animal control is, the first thing is the auditor officer. It's, that's a salary contractual item.
Why is that going up?
It's a contract problem.
Just a contract item, it's time. I don't know why they changed it on this.
Yeah, I mean, why does the animal control officer show a raise when all the others are flatlined? Is he under, he's the same kind of contract, right?
Yeah, no, he's in the AFSCME contract.
There's more.
Oh, he's AFSCME. Okay, that's why, okay.
What happened was originally, the figures were put in at 42,016.00 cents. I went back and I didn't agree with those figures, and I gave Mr. Wojcik the new figure of 45,483.20. Okay, and then that's where he got his figures from, because
Okay.
the numbers that he initially received were incorrect.
Okay.
Okay, and that was a correction
All right.
made by,
And that makes sense. If it's an AFSCME employee, then,
but that's how that was, that's how it was.
because the AFSCME contract goes to
Another year.
one more year.
And then there's the $500 for the dog census. That is level funded. And lastly are the cages.
The animal shelter, yeah.
Right.
Isn't that up for renewal?
That is, there's an RFP being advertised soon, and that's coming out with a contract.
So we won't really know how much it's going to be.
We don't know, and you can be
Because that
advised,
28 was high.
be advised that there are new owners.
Of the Secana vet?
Yeah,
Yes.
they bought it, yeah.
I have looked at a couple other things to try to get some type of a feel for this thing. We also, state law requires we can't go to Massachusetts. Rhode Island's animal control, animal laws are much more stringent than Massachusetts. So we have to stay within the state. If I have, we've had good service from Secana Vet, and I'm not soliciting for them, but we have 6 cages that we lease at $12.25 a cage, and that's 2,190 cages a year, so that comes to $26,827.50 currently. That's what we have right now. There is going to be an increase, I assume, possibly there's going to be an increase. I have spoken with the chief in Bristol. Bristol just opened a very large animal shelter. It's in Rhode Island, and I just had a very informal conversation with him. I said, what do you think would be a start? This is a $2 million dog shelter, by the way. And he just said an estimated guess figure, this is nothing official, he said it'd be $50,000 a year we would charge us. So.
Yeah, but how many, of all the cages that you had there in Secana, how many animals were actually, each year, how many animals actually use those cages?
Our cages are actually, to date, they very rarely charge us for overages. We do use the cages, we do use them a lot. We don't kill too many, we don't euthanize too many animals, and really, they never charge us for extra cages.
Yeah, but I think Joe Souza did some kind of a research on it and said that most of the animals are within hours of brought back to their owners and they don't even stay in the cages, so.
Many times.
So, I mean, how about if we make another type of contract, because we're paying for cages that are empty, they may even be using them twice or 3 times over.
They actually do get used for the most part. They actually have a pretty good record of that in there. X number of days, I don't know a specific date, after, I think it's 10, but else I won't say that, and then the dog's up or down, or the animal's put down. They actually hold the dog longer than that, hoping to, if it's adoptable, they do hold the dog longer than that. It's not at the taxpayer's expense, because when they get to a certain point, they will. But even when we are over, historically, they've kept the animal, they've never charged us for extra cages.
So because they're making up on the times that the cages
It's
are empty.
like a hotel, there are vacancies from time to time, and you don't make that money back, or can't rent that room again. But, we are here, I think this is a quality of life issue for your community. Do you want to have a service for the people in town, or do you not? If we do, we're fortunate enough to get into, let's just say Bristol, I dare say that someone will be very upset with me that they got to now travel to Bristol to get their dog back, that 2-hour window you're talking about. And if it's after hours of the animal control officer, I now have to pay somebody 4 hours overtime to bring a dog to the hotel.
The sad part is, it's a monopoly, there's only one vet in Tiverton.
That's...
So, I mean, they would charge us $1,000 a day, and we have to take it because we're the only one in town.
You may be right in that, but I can tell you that for my 12 years, they haven't gone up, I think it's gone up $1 in the 12-year period. I think that's and I have all the contracts, and I know Mrs. Mello does as well.
And with new people, do you know?
Of course not. I have no clue.
So we don't know what that's, so this is just a guesstimate here?
The figure, yes, this is what we're currently paying, because we are going out, we're advertising for a new contract, a new 3-year contract.
Well, and it will come before the council, and the council will discuss it, and...
But if the animal control officer picks up a dog, brings him back, does that dog go into a cage over at Secana?
Yes.
Okay, so even though the dog may not spend overnight, the dog is still put in the cage, so we're still using the cage, even if it's for 3 hours or 4 hours.
As this is, it might be a matter of an hour, it could be 45 minutes.
But the dog is in there.
The dog is taken care of, but also there are times that when times are a little more difficult recently, people are abandoning pets.
Right.
And they actually kept them longer to try to get them adopted out.
All I'm saying is, did you find with the ratio of the amount of animals that you need 6 cages at all times? That's all I'm saying.
There was a prior administrator went up to 8, and I fought that and went back to 6. I didn't think that 8 was, I thought 8 was a bit excessive. That was all in reaction to cats, and keeping cats there and stuff like that, so.
Just call Barbara Pelletier, she'll take care of the cats.
She does. They have a very good group there that's doing that now, yes.
People aren't charged when they pick up their dog, they just pick up their dog, they aren't charged.
There may be a fine involved. There is a fine involved. If the dog is loose and it's violated an ordinance, there'll be a citation issued by the animal control officer, yes.
I guess what I'm trying to say is, if it can be self-funding for the dogs that are, some dogs, of course, the owner's never going to come for them, but the ones that do, shouldn't they pay for the cage, at least? Or is it 12 something, or at least $13?
I can tell you it's $12.25 right now.
Okay.
If there is a dog fine and there is a fee, let's just say your pet gets out and you get a $25 fine, that money goes back to the general fund. So that person is paying for the cage for that particular fine.
But is the money coming from the municipal side to pay for these cages, or is it coming from your
No,
budget?
it's coming from the budget, the town general fund.
Okay, all right, it's in the police, I was just trying to figure
No,
out.
it's not the police budget.
The general fund is
The police budget.
everything.
No, I was just trying to figure out where it was coming from.
I think they're trying to think if the cage would pay is self-sufficient, is that what
Yeah, it would be nice, no?
Well, no, I mean, it may, but we do not tag revenues to pay for specific items. All fees, fines, revenue goes to the general fund to support the overall budget.
Per child.
All right.
Per charter.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, I'll go on my rant. Okay. We'd have one police officer and 50 building inspectors. Okay, that's it.
Next.
Well, that's to make
That one good thing is that the lead time now.
I think so, wish you have any questions.
And just on the fees, fines, revenue side of the ledger, presume you've been working or talking to, yeah. Is there anything that stands out? I mean, is there any big jumps or, I'm just looking at last year's, the year-to-date that's come in. Remember one year we had a big jump in municipal revenue fees because of the seatbelt thing and
That's
construction, all of that stuff.
I think the biggest fee you saw at that time was the construction of the bridge.
Right.
Then we had detail officers there, and there were revenues coming in at that time, things like that. Seatbelts, that's all part of the municipal court system, and as well as RITT in Wakefield, and officers go there, there's a percentage of that as well.
You're sitting underneath here.
So I'm just looking at the VIN inspections, and I don't know why. I mean, has there been a lot of vehicles?
Basically, right now, there is, if you watch some of the consumer reports,
Yeah.
the car sales, except for the snowstorm and Washington birthday sales, kind of washed out. But yes, as the economy gets better, there'll be a few, it's by statute, how much we can charge you. We do have, if you go out there, given Wednesday, there may be 15, 20 cars out there, 5 cars. And that money goes back to, of course, goes back to the town, but that's the very...
Bin inspections.
The vehicle identification?
Vehicle identification number.
That goes to the, not to the state? That money does not go to the state? It goes to the town?
Well, yeah, because we're paying the officers to do it.
Actually, we're not paying enough.
Oh,
We allowed, contractually, they've opted to take compensation time, so it saves my overtime budget.
oh, well, there we go. Well,
Paying you now, paying you later, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We're okay with
One or the other.
The only thing I'm closing on that, the hour contract is, and the officers agree with the fact that it's contrary to federal law, overtime, compensation time can be refused if it creates overtime.
Yes.
Complete it, no. Federal says you cannot, that's not an excuse to refuse compensation time, but their contract specifically states you will, if you want compensation time, you will not be granted compensation time if it creates overtime. It's opposite of federal law, so that saves a little money that way as well.
when you do sit down with Denise on the revenues, can you take a look at the VIN inspections? Because we've already collected 8,200 as of the end of December, and we budgeted 11,000. So halfway through the year, I mean, it's not 50/50.
No, and actually, for this time of year, I'll tell you, most car sales are in the spring.
So, I mean, it's possible that we could
It's
up
not
that.
happening. There's times when people have to get a good car for the winter as well, so.
Right, but we could up that, I mean, seeing as how we're already over the 50% mark, it's the end of December, maybe that could go up a little.
I think you're right.
I mean, way over the 50% mark, like, what is 8,000?
Historically.
I don't have that at my fingertips. But what is, what is 8,000 out of 11,000 is almost 80, almost 70-odd%.
But I can tell you that the car sales are, countrywide are actually, across the nation, they are increased.
Okay.
They have good, very good gains.
That and the fines and costs line item, that's kind of a bucket for a lot of things, I know. But as of the end of December, that was,
12,000?
yeah, 12,600, so that was over the
What is that,
budget.
fines?
Fines and costs, 4550 is the account number. That was well over halfway.
45, 50. That's for, you have somebody who wants for fines?
Fines and costs,
Is that for traffic violations?
could be parking tickets is its own line. So
Right,
fines
so
and
that would be
costs.
traffic, and as I said,
Yeah.
we have we've already taken a click at those funds quite a while, and a couple of the grants we put in for, and that money, we've had it pretty much all year this year, so that's why that's been increased. And as I said to you before, municipal court alone is around $40,000 in traffic violations this year.
Well, maybe we could up those to revenue. When you discuss the revenue line items with Denise, ask about the VIN inspections and the fines and costs, if you're comfortable increasing that bucket.
It's not safe to do so, it's grant generated though.
It's partly generated?
Grant generated, you're having these officers on overtime paid for by a grant, which raises the revenue in that area.
Well, then no, it wouldn't be. I mean, it's what you're comfortable doing. But if we're, for the VIN inspections, if the expectation next year would be the same level as this year, or somewhere close to it, then, we want to raise that revenue budget. line item. And the same thing with the fines and costs. If it's because you got extra, grant money to have the click-it routine, then no, we don't want to raise that budget. But if it's something that's going to be sustainable, then we should have our revenue budget as close as possible.
As to how that's the chief's responsibility, I'm curious.
Because he knows best what his revenue numbers are.
But he doesn't prepare the revenue budget.
Yes, he does.
He does?
He helps
I'm
them.
asked to give a projected, yes.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right here.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for your time. It wasn't too painful, but thank you.
Not bad.
Thank you for getting us in here
And
tonight.
I'm sorry for the confusion on that education thing.
That's okay. Learning experience.
Oh, we wouldn't have gotten in tonight. We wouldn't have gotten in tonight without you, thank you.
Any questions, Officer Chief? Thank you.
Thank you, Chief, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, officer, for bailing us out.
Yes.
And Chief, don't forget to give him my computer.
Ever since that house fell on her sister, she's been like this.
Next is the docket presentation. Oh, there's nobody here?
Everything gets pushed to the next.
So it is what it is.
No budget for them.
It is what the town administrator recommended, $21,110.
Oh, well, actually, why don't we do that? I'll make a
Looks like a good number to me.
All right, I'll make a provisional motion to approve 2,600 for the Harbor and Coastal Management Commission as recommended by the town administrator.
Second.
With this public master training, are always required to stay.
All in favor of that vote? All in favor? Any opposed?
Wait a minute, is that, can I just ask, it's just the salary of the harbor master?
No, this is Harbor and
The one
Coastal
above it.
Management.
The coastal.
In coastal.
Yeah, the two lines above it.
What the town administrator recommended?
Yeah, 2,600.
Does anyone know what the supplies and miscellaneous is?
Well, okay, so that's a unanimous vote for the 2,600. All right, under the Harbor Master. Well, it's
That's what's asking, supplies.
Just saying, just caught my eye real quick.
Maybe people thought we were.
Might be sending out warnings, might be sending out notices for warnings or something.
Numerous loose items needed to keep boat fully functional.
The boat itself,
Do
Harbor Master's boat.
we know what they spent this year?
Yes.
Josh, is he all set with that? No. Want to have that answered?
Well, I think, yeah, I'm just curious, his harbor masters seems like a different category, but harbor and coastal management. Commission.
That's the commission.
Oh, what the 200 supplies and miscellaneous is?
Yeah, what is it used for?
Oh, it's pens, papers.
Oh, all right.
I mean, it's,
That's down 300 from last year.
That's why I asked, that's all.
yeah, they had to put their book together in the prior year. And they've actually spent nothing
Oh,
year-to-date.
I assume,
On the supplies and miscellaneous for the Harbor Master section, where it is...
Supplies and expenses.
it's all level funded, the only thing that's not there is the assistant, so I'm assuming there's no assistant harbor master.
No, and that is an annual request.
What about the supplies and expenses, it's $800.
That's the boat.
That's the guy in the boat.
In the book, it says numerous loose items needed to keep boat fully functional. 5-year average is 818. The request is for 800. And we're not giving the harbor master a raise.
last year, they didn't anyways.
More in the system.
The actual last year, they didn't spend that much last year. It was 575.48. So
Well, do people want to have a discussion with the town administrator, with the harbor master?
No, I just think 21,110 sounds like a good number. He's obviously, all he's done is just take out the assistant.
Right. I'll make a motion.
And just added the training. That's new.
No,
No, it's not new.
no, it's not.
Yeah, he upped the boat operations some.
That's required by the state, that training. I guess there's not much you can do about that.
No, I mean, the town administrator approved the department request, so, other than the $2,000 for assistance.
So is that going to move to approve it?
I'll move we approve.
Preliminary vote though, right?
Yes, and I'd like to get back to the boat operations as much as I know that we've picked on them before about that.
We'll have to do it more.
Well, the 5-year average, the actual dollars spent is about $9,900. Now, I know that we have a new boat. It's, it's piddly dollars.
That's why I don't know why we're spending a whole lot of time on it.
Okay.
I mean, that'd just reduce it.
Well, I guess somebody's gonna come, though, aren't they? I mean, they're not here tonight, but they may come another time.
Well, they ain't coming, they're coming. I'm not going after them.
Okay.
It's in the posting up, so I'm not gonna track them down.
I just want to know why I went to 13,760 when it was 12, I mean, the average is 9, it was 12 last year, and yet I don't understand why it went up.
Well, we can move it out from...
Somebody can make a motion to reduce it too.
Well, I would just go for the 1260 because I'm not understanding why there's an average that's lower and then all of a sudden we've got this increase. I don't...
Well, I'm not comfortable changing it unless, we have a discussion with someone who has the facts.
And the town administrator might have those facts.
Right.
Why don't we save that for...
We can save that.
Yeah.
Because that's something that's only used seasonally, right? So,
All right, then let's, how about, I'll make a motion to provisionally approve $72,811 for the animal control total, as recommended by the town administrator.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? It's unanimous.
No.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see it there.
that's all right, I counted.
Maud!
Well, because I your best.
Well, I'm gonna talk to Joe again, because, he seemed to come up with other things.
Well, he's on the council now, he can make a difference.
Well, I know, but I mean, I just wanna talk to him before I make my vote.
In operations, I think we can do. Preliminary motion to approve. Motion to provisionally approve, thank you, $222,515 for police department operations is recommended by the town administrator.
Want a second?
So I'll second that.
Who seconded that?
Madeline?
My only concern would be is the chief seemed to be concerned about gas and oil, just making sure the number is correct.
80,000?
Right, I mean, we have requested 85, but,
He figured he could make do.
And that is in line with the 5-year average. And the 5-year average, considering the price of gas, being within that 5-year average, is pretty good. I mean, that's, I think,
Probably what
Down from last year.
yes.
right, down from last year. Okay.
All in favor? Nobody opposed?
And then I personally would like to wait to do the other two until we get clarification and reassurance on those two numbers.
Which two?
Education incentive and the 48,516.
I thought we put that together.
Well, I don't want to do the math in my head, and I'd rather have the town administrator say, this is where it goes, and this is how the number's going to change. Before I go moving it.
That's fine with me. That's the will of the committee.
Yeah.
Okay, is that in fact the vote of the committee to postpone voting on those until we have more information?
Yes, I'll second that. Well, you make a motion.
I didn't really make a motion to it, I
don't think we need
I was
to.
just going if that's the will of the committee.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll postpone those.
Education incentive and education. State education.
What's next week?
We did
228. No, I'm sorry.
we did harbor and coastal management.
226. Fire department, hydrant services. We got any discussions on the docket presentation?
Can we just go back? We provisionally approved harbor and coastal management
For 2,600.
for 2,600, and then the harbor master,
We're going to hold it till we can...
hold on the whole thing.
Yes.
As far as the docket, I did contact the other towns that have the referendum, and they all have line items that they pass out, just like they have on the website. So it's a consensus that all of the towns, whether it be FDRs or FDMs, do put line items to give to the people when they come to vote.
Have you asked them who prepares it? By any chance, I'm just curious.
I know one of them told me, I think it was Belleville, that the town administrator has some input on that.
You had asked me to do that as well last year, so you're like duplicating our efforts. But I did speak to from the clerk's perspective, because they're usually the ones that are handling the elections. And I did print out exactly what they have to
Oh,
say.
great, thank you.
And it's
I thought we'd asked you
But
that.
you've got to remember what we have the elected budget committee along with the council.
Yeah.
So I didn't specifically hear from any of them who prepared it, although West Warwick, when I spoke with West Warwick, I believe it is, they said they had a finance director that was really kind of gung-ho on this and starting to do more and more. But for every one of them, I said, are you handing this out at your FTRs? What are you giving the people? And essentially, it comes down to the same one. One has 112-page...
Pies in them and everything.
It's actually beyond us, and one reminded me of yours more, because it had all the statistics in the front as to what this is going to affect, the tax rate and the this and the that and all. And they said, with the exception of one, and it could have been Hopkinton, I can't remember, but they actually said, I said, and do you actually put it out the day of the FTR? Because they have like their public hearing on the Wednesday, and their FTR might be on the Saturday that week, or they gave me the dates. But they said, you know, we don't put it at the FTR at the polling location, but when I tell my finance director, he's going to want it there. So, and we do that, and everyone said the same thing, they put them out, like the senior centers and a couple of places around town. Without knowing that's what they do, we do the identical thing here. We put it on the website, it's there all year, just like...
You have to be transparent, you have to have people have the
I have to
information.
say the formats for what they use, I like some of theirs a lot better than I like ours, And some I like parts of it better than ours. But they all give a detailed breakdown. Some much more detailed than ours. But what we kind of lack in that is some of them give a summary of it as well. So I don't have to look through 112 pages. I can go on the website if I want to and look through it, or I can pick up a copy at the clerk's office or at the town hall or something, if I want that hard copy like that. But some of them also have that little summary, which kind of breaks it down by saying clerk's office, X amount for salary, X amount for operations.
That was my intent to do.
And then the backup to that is you can go to the clerk's office, and I'm using the clerk's office, but then you could go to that clerk's office and you can see everything, salaries, program, this one happens to be human services, that's a bad one to use. But I mean, you can go in, you can see everything, you can see supplies, you can see every single expense. Some of them go way beyond and put like, in the DPW, show the mechanic and their salary, the mechanic helpers and his, and it lists every single position.
I think it was in Hopkinton, she said that what happens is, you have to think of everybody. And by having it there and detailed and everything, then nobody can say something's missing or, whatever. Because not everybody is computer savvy, not everybody has computers, not everybody, especially, I think she had Hopkins, they're not even on Wi-Fi in their town hall. I mean, they're really backward.
Go on any-
But what I'm saying is, that they just want to say that the way it was done, archaic as you may think it is, then everybody has a chance to be able to have access to it.
There are 4 cities have FDRs.
Yeah, West Warwick, Lincoln,
Charleston,
Hopkinton, and
Hopkinton.
Charleston.
Yeah.
But I mean, Hopkinton does have a nice one, because they do the expense across by, and they were the one that listed town clerk, probate, every department, and it's total. And then they go in to say, okay, but here's all my breakdown on the debt
Right, you
service,
gotta have-
here's all
have a
my
breakdown.
breakdown.
You gotta have a
So
breakdown.
you could do a summary type thing if you wanted on top of this, which would make it very easy if I were at a polling location and wanted to see what the heck I was voting on, and I only had to look at this summary or this summary. Can't change it, because I'm only gonna be able to vote on one number anyway. But the backup to it, no matter what style you put it in, and our style is a bit old, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
It's not really disclosing everything.
No.
You still have to look for some of those figures and figure them out. It's kind of old, and we've used it for 50
Right, but
years. and-
taking that away and giving even less is not the way to go.
No, I'm not saying that.
Because then we would be not in line with every other city and town in the state.
Then I'm looking for a volunteer to do it.
No, but
'Cause I know
every year
who's
we
not
say
gonna
a
do it.
change, and every year we never change. It's not the clerk's docket.
they-
or-
No, I'm not looking at you.
Oh, no.
No.
Oh, you mean, like, look at the...
But I'm just
No.
saying.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if I have to do it, it's gonna be in a summary format. Because I'm not spending all those hours putting all of that crap in there.
But
Sorry,
they-
that's me.
They print that big packet.
They print them, now they don't, we print a lot more than they do, and we could cut down on our printing.
I think so.
But they print enough to put around town, to put in the town hall, to put in a couple of locations, and 2 of them do not put them at the day of the FTR. I don't know why, but they don't put them out at the FTR.
That is such a big, overwhelming...
Say that.
Well, ours is 19 pages.
You got money over there?
Ours is 19 pages, but I'm not telling you, ours is...
No, I know you're not. I'm just telling you that I'm not doing what Laura did last
You
year.
know where I'm going, Laura. This has been discussed every single year on how we would change it, and it never comes up, but it's all just the backup, and I think you have to disclose the detail to the people.
You have to
can't
have-
just
My
say-
sense is you have to have it available to the people who want to look at it.
Right.
And that's very few.
I don't know that, no, that's not.
People pick up the book because that's the only thing they have.
You know, one of the,
Oh, look, all I'm saying, I'm giving you my feeling about it, okay? I am not doing it.
Nobody said
I will, well, somebody's got to do it.
I'll
You want to do it? You want to take the responsibility?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's why I said I'm asking for volunteers.
But why are Nancy's always doing things?
You know, I mean, I don't care how it's done, but I just don't have the time to do it or the inclination.
But I can tell you, if I walked in Lincoln and wanted a copy, they'd have to print me out one. If I said I don't have a computer and I want to know what the town's budget is, I'm going to be handed one of these babies. Because that's a public record and they have to make it available to me.
That's right.
Fine, we'll print it out.
But,
But I'm just telling you, I don't have the inclination, and quite honestly, I'll resign from the committee before I do it. And that's not a threat.
Someone wrong person.
I'm just looking, I'm not looking at you, I'm just looking.
We do have a hearing, and people go to the hearing about it before they even vote, and you need to have that available for them to
Fine.
look at. Now, as far as maybe changes or something, maybe during the year, we could look how we might want to change it and update it and look at some good ideas from the other towns. That might be something we might want to do. Not now, but maybe for next year, you know. Maybe two of us could look over the different ones and see what might look different, which is nicer, a nicer setup, you know, that we hadn't thought of. But not now, but maybe for the
I did
future.
think a summary. I mean, personally, I like a summary because I know where the numbers are coming from. So I like to see a summary because it's quick and easy, and anything you do, you like it summarized up front, because it's quick and easy to look at, and I can see the numbers. And I may be the taxpayer who doesn't care that it's going to heat, electric and stuff. I think part of the problem comes from this, that people then keep hearing because the administrator or the council has the ability to transfer between, and they try to, and it gets tried to be pinned down on one. No, in that case, if I were the taxpayer, I want to know that your operations come to $100,000. I don't care if it's heat, I don't care if it's electric, I don't care if it's oil.
That's all they should be concerned about.
Right, but to get to that summary, you did that work. and
Well, you've got to have it in
police
background.
published.
Yeah, because you can't come up with the numbers unless you've got the details. Okay?
The other thing that impressed me when I was looking at these a couple of years ago was the way, I think it was Portsmouth, in their council resolution, how they presented the flow. That, you know, how we do that first page that has total expenditures, less this much in revenue, less this much in non-tax revenue, gets you here, plus this, minus that, you know, it is, to me, is...
You probably would like a Lincoln.
Well, they have a finance director.
Yes, they do.
And they have...
Lincoln's got it all together, and their budget committee will
If you
figure
got
out.
Lincoln work, that has those explanations. It actually has a table
Yeah.
with everything. Then it'll say the combined analysis of revenue, budget summary and stuff.
That's what, Lincoln has their budget committee all year round. That's why they're organized.
Well, what do they have staff in the office?
It impressed me, but West Warwick did too, and
Yeah.
Portsmouth has a finance director and 5 or 6 people in the
We really
finance
have a
office.
budget. We're doing a budget this year, we didn't have a budget.
yeah.
So, I'm just saying,
But I mean, even in Portsmouth.
I'm being right up front with this one.
That does have an election, should it not pass their budget, they have that system, that town meeting and all. You can go into Portsmouth on the clerk's, I've done it myself, and pick up their budget, and it's a whole pack, it's a whole breakdown of departments with their salaries, with their benefits, with their everything in it, all the way down.
Well, that's the
Fire
problem.
department, yeah. It's, unfortunately, it's what you've got. Ours just, to me, isn't presented as nicely as,
Right.
but I mean, that doesn't mean you need, I'm
But
just
who does
saying.
it?
I'm sure they have more full-time help to do it.
I'm sure they do,
Because
too.
it's not elected budget committees that just need doing that are putting this all together.
Why does
so.
that matter?
Well, because it's, you're not working 40 hours a week on the town. That's why it matters. The finance directors in some of these towns put it together because they have more time than just an elected budget committee.
So why should an elected budget committee put it together?
That's why I said they're not working with just an elected budget
The
committee.
only thing is, if the chairman doesn't have time to do it, doesn't mean we should eliminate it.
Chairman
We should
doesn't want to do it.
We should figure out some other way to get it done.
I'm retired, I've got time, it's not time, I don't want to do it.
Well,
I don't want to sit there hours and hours and hours.
I was only
during the
asking
week.
because that's it.
No, I understand, but no, I'm not kidding you.
I did.
Nancy, did you
I have better things to do with my time.
Those are the,
And I'll just leave them there, I
Okay, good.
printed out a copy. Leave-
Okay.
The other thing you asked me to do was to get the budget and revenue, so I'm sure, it was supposed to be in tonight's council packet as well, so I'm sure Denise Surratt will probably get it to me tomorrow.
That's fine.
When I get it, I'll email it to you, but you do not need to print it out. I will have printed it out for your next meeting, okay?
Nancy, could you give her the disk or whatever she would need to put that in your computer so, and, we'll work on
Do
it.
it on a thumb drive, because I do it on my laptop, but sure, I'll just email it to you. You don't need a disk, I'll email it to you.
which,
Okay. What are you emailing, what
just-
am I getting?
Just the spreadsheet.
The spreadsheet, you mean the
Oh, oh,
spreadsheet with
yeah,
these numbers?
yeah.
Sure, I'll just email it to you.
Okay.
their format,
Do you know,
the
do
spreadsheet.
you know Excel?
No,
She's talking about our
Oh,
document.
that's not fair. If you don't know
You
Excel,
don't
don't
have the
even,
spreadsheet, I have it.
don't get into this.
I can
You
look.
have the
Well, you can learn it,
spreadsheet with the
but I'm
budget
just telling you.
column in it.
I have the spreadsheet, you don't have the spreadsheet, you've got a PDF.
Really?
it all the
Because how do you think I'm making these changes if it's a PDF?
Oh, you have the other ones. That's right, because you wanted to, that's right.
Does yours match up to the document?
I have that docket. Now, I did only get it in PDF, but so that I could convert it to be able to plug in these changes. Otherwise, I can't follow you or the council. Really, what I'm doing is not to follow the budget committee, but to follow the council. That's what I have to do.
So mine will be in a document form?
No, no,
Not
no,
PDF.
no,
It's an Excel.
I emailed her the spreadsheet for
Right.
this, after the whole process was done, last year. So what Nancy has done is been using that to redo this year's. So half your work, half the work is already done.
Right, and the best, but for your purpose, because you need that, she needs that added column of budget committee, which I do not have. I'd have to add in another column to that. You'd have to add in another column if your budget committee recommendation is different than your town administrator or council. It's really a council approval that keeps coming.
You know what, Nancy, you send Nancy,
And she'll have a working thing, and at the end you
and then
can...
I'll email you my final from last year,
Okay,
and you can use whichever one,
all right.
Then
or neither.
who writes the front of the book?
There is no writing.
There is no writing?
Well,
You write the resolutions, you write, there's other things
The
in there.
committee approves the resolutions, and so, yeah, you're just gonna type them right in. That first page with all those numbers and figures, the budget committee's gonna
right.
do them up. That's the budget committee's, sure. And it usually comes to me all at once through Laura, and I'm sure Laura will assist in it, because you've got that one with the final column that I can't get into.
Laura's not assisting with this effort this year.
I thought, that's my point.
Oh, but I mean, for a minimal amount of work, what you're gonna have to do to that, send it to Nancy, and she'll...
Yeah, are you Excel, well, but we'll talk later.
I can get,
It doesn't have to be exactly the same, that's the point.
Yeah.
And if you're volunteering to do it,
That was my point.
right, you need to make it as complicated or as straightforward as you're comfortable doing, because it's a lot of responsibility to take on.
yep,
All of those numbers are available that go into that in your book. All I'm saying is that this book is the background, the backup, and all we need in the docket is a department summary of salaries, expenses, that's it. Anybody wants to see the backup, we can print a couple copies of this thing and have it out in the library and here. That's my point. But, fine, I'm just making my point.
Well, that's the administrators.
No, I don't care who's
And you got
says
the
it.
budget committees, the administrators, the councils.
If you've already put together that spreadsheet, though, well...
You know what, I'll show it to you on my computer at the end.
Yeah, that's what you
Change
just
the numbers.
Put the number, yeah, it's not gonna be that.
And then if she's...
There's a lot of numbers.
But if she's adding lines, I mean, then she just has to check the formulas, you know, it's...
Well,
If you've already done like a big percentage of
Yes,
that
but
work.
every year it's a
You know how you
significant
check the
amount.
formulas, Nancy? You just click them on,
Yeah, how much you
make sure
figure you
it's
spent on
counting
that?
what's above you. Tally it through yourself if you like, and make sure you
Too much?
match.
No, yeah, I've spent, rough guess, 10, 15 hours at least a week for the budget season, doing this kind of stuff.
So,
But I'm just telling you, that's what I was actually doing. Yes, I will email it to you, it's not, and I will show it to you at the end of the meeting. Okay? So there's nothing you're looking for next week other than I'll have your budget ready.
Thank you, Nancy.
thanks, Nancy. Who's planning to go to the fire department site visit Saturday morning?
I am.
You can't, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. I was hoping Joe would go. I'll email Joe.
Is it 9 o'clock?
9 o'clock. Well, I'm gonna call the fire chief tomorrow.
Where is it, which part is it?
That's what I'm gonna find out.
He said we stop there, they appreciate some-
And I'll email you.
Start North Tiverton?
Yeah.
My sense is you start where the chief's office is and then
Yeah, and then he brings you.
get whatever his tour is.
Yeah.
So I will find out. So,
Yeah.
Play until 2 in the morning, get home at 3:30. Yeah. Part-time work, so.
okay.
And then next week is the fire department
Next week
budget,
is the fire department.
and we're gonna add the police pension and the other pensions
Yes.
to that.
Yeah.
And you'll email me the agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
You're gonna contact Mr. Woodruff and see if he's gonna be here?
I am going to tell him that, he worked for me, but
Yeah.
although I thought, Dave, you're gonna take care of that, right?
Thank you.
Directing the town administrator to be at the budget hearings? First thing tomorrow morning. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's only right, because, we went around our circles for that one,
Okay.
and 5 minutes it would have been done if he was here to
Okay,
answer.
do we need any more, budget presentation information? Or we done it? We've done all the backup, did we do all the back ones last week? All the previous budget presentations for the provisional votes?
No, we have not taken individual votes on the other ones.
But that was in the minutes.
No. Oh,
Which ones haven't we done?
we haven't done the first weeks, the planning,
All right.
if we want to do those,
Do we want to try to do those tonight, or do we want to take a look at them and do them next week?
let's do next week.
Next week is fine.
We just need to do the minutes.
Okay, I'm handing out the minutes. Cecil did a hell of a job for the minutes.
I think so too.
I'm thinking that too.
Yeah.
We haven't come to any ideas. We already said that.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from last week's meeting.
I second that motion.
So moved.
There you go.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
I abstain.
Okay, well, so it's 402.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
No, these are cool.
Five
So
minutes.
long, because meetings are
Five
over.
minutes.
I get used to them.
That's why I got you sitting, that's why you're my left-hand person. 502. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in